to the only live webcast that brings you the passion, the power, and the pulse of the mighty One New Zealand Warriors. This is Ruin Hammer Live, the official webcast of Warrior Nation, which is the official Aussie-based Warriors supporters movement. I am Hammer, and joining me as usual tonight is my co-host and fellow Warriors tragic, Warrior-roo. Rob, how are you, mate? How have you been? I know the weekend you had a fair bit of family commitment to go to. How have you been, buddy?
Yeah, I've been good, thanks. Weather up here has actually been really good. I know you guys were struggling down there south of the border a little bit with a bit of wind and everything, but weather's been really good up here.
Yep.
Yeah, weekend was massive. My daughter, she was starring in Shrek Junior, the musical up here. She had a couple of roles. She was one of the three blind mice, and then she was young Fiona. She had a bit of a solo. She did super well. So proud of her. Even before that, though, on Saturday, we had to race up to Nissan Arena near the old ANZ Stadium at America, where she was performing in a sports aerobics competition, and her team won gold.
Wow.
In her age division. So that was that massive weekend for our family. Unfortunately, we had to take her straight after her performance, straight to her musical. So she didn't actually get to receive her gold medal, but she'll get that later on. So yes, massive weekend for the family. Super proud of her. And yeah, she had 3 performances of the musical over the weekend. So it was
Beautiful.
massive for us. The first performance was 3:00 on Saturday. And let me tell you, watching Shrek Junior the musical was much better viewing than another thing that was on at 3:00 on Saturday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it was.
How have you been? You been well? How's your,
mate, yeah.
How's the long COVID?
Yeah, back at work, mate. Starting to get back into the swing of things. Managed to get out on the weekend. Danny and I got out on the weekend. Went down to Otford, which is in the National Park, Royal National Park. Beautiful spot if you want to go and see the whales migrating north.
Yep.
So we got to spot quite a few whales on the weekend, and that's kind of our thing. Everyone knows whales are big in our culture, the multiculture. So
yeah, I love whales.
Always love going to watch the whales migrate. So did a bit of that on the weekend, but aside from that, mate, nowhere near as exciting as what you went through with Dommy. It'd be remiss of me because we can't just talk about Dommy. How did Cody go at soccer?
You're right. Their team scored their first goal of the season. So
good.
Yeah, he did good as well. I'm trying to get him into it, but he keeps saying to me, "Dad, I want to play touch footy instead." So I was like, I didn't know that I didn't want him to play rugby league. But for reasons that I've discussed before. But he's expressed interest in touch footy. So we'll see how he goes in soccer this year, and then hopefully transition him over to touch because he's quick. He's small in stature, but he's very quick. So I think he might use that to his advantage. Maybe young Sean Johnson. He's typically young, half Asian kid. So could be the next Sean Johnson.
Yeah, Craig Wing,
half Fillo. Been a few of them that have come. Actually, Payne Haas is part Filipino as well.
He is too. Yeah,
definitely doesn't get his build from his Filipino side though. That's definitely from his Samoan side.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Mate. As I said in the opener, we're now the official webcast of Warrior Nation. Going live on our Ruin Hammer page and on Facebook, our YouTube channel, and also with the blessing of the godfather of Warrior Nation, Richie Morgan, we go live on the Warrior Nation page. Just want to give a massive shout out to Richie. You're supposed to be on tonight, but he's come down. He was over in New Zealand on the weekend. He's come down a little bit crook, and we all agree, the three of us agree that it's better for him to rest up and make sure he's right for the festivities that are happening this weekend, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But mate, let's get into last weekend. Warriors round 16 at home against a depleted Penrith Panthers side. Penrith went into the game without their origin stars due to the travel difficulties from Perth to New Zealand. But those young kids that they had really stepped up. Kind of like when we played the baby Broncos a few years back, where they put a win on us. Going into this game, the Warriors had 2 milestone men. They had Tamari Martin playing his 100th NRL game. fuck, that's taken a while to get to, and with everything that he's been through.
A lot of interruptions there, but yeah, good to see him get to that milestone for sure.
And Murata Niokore played his 50th club game for the Warriors. Probably not one that he will want to remember.
No.
But mate, going into this game, I must admit I was a little bit concerned when I saw Shermanator was the referee, and not that I blame our losses on referees, but for some reason that guy, whenever he refs us, it just seems to be, I don't know, like he's got it in for us.
We first had him. It was one of the Redcliffe games. I think the Warriors versus the Cowboys game that we went to at Redcliffe, where we won in Golden Point. I think that was the first time we saw him. So we dubbed it. Well, we all know Redcliffe was the land of the doppelganger. So
yes, it was.
That was the night he became the Shermanator, and you were sitting next to that paramedic that looked like Anne Hathaway.
Yes.
That's right. That's the first time I'd sort of come across him, and geez, we don't do well under him. I got to be honest, he looks like a man that has no sense of humor. Like he just looks like a very serious man,
and no friends. He looks like a man with no friends. Yeah. If people don't know who the Shermanator is, just watch the American Pie movies. That's where we get the Shermanator from. But mate, this game, it was one of those games where like Panthers had over 60% possession in the opening 15 minutes. We conceded 4 penalties and 4 set restarts. Our discipline was off, most definitely. Panthers had, the way to possession. They scored in their first try in the 18th minute. We had Murata Niokore fail HIA, which brought Jackson Ford into the game early. There was, I don't know, mate. It was just one of those games where Penrith seemed to have all the ascendancy. They seemed to, their offload game was good. They seemed to have all like when I say all the running, all the effort. Their effort plays were great. They backed up well. They created a lot of opportunities. We defended well on our line. Here's a kid who got called out for being a ranger too. Yes, it is. Is it Todd Smith? That's his name.
Smith.
Yeah,
Todd Smith is his name. Yeah. That is his actual name. Yeah, so Todd Smith. Yeah.
There was some good efforts. RTS with a great effort play in that first half. He earned us a penalty. On the back of that, Jackson Ford with a try from that ensuing set. Halasima, wrecking ball on the kick. Chase just he knocked out 3 blokes trying to, what do they call it? Shield the ball catcher who knocked the ball on. Yeah. DWZ succumbed to a syndesmosis injury, an ankle injury. He was a passenger out on the wing. Penrith identified that. They went straight to him for their second try in the corner. DWZ went going off the field. We had Tamati Martin come on playing centre. We shifted Adam Pompey from left centre to right wing so that Moala Graham Taufa wasn't on that side with an inexperienced player in Tamati Martin. Like resilience kept us in the game, but those 2 losses of those 2 players in the first half really affected us. Jacob Laban with a great try early in the second half, and I thought the Warriors were on their way from that point. Pompey with a conversion because Metcalf with that thigh injury. And then Metcalf became a bit of a passenger. He wasn't doing our general play kicks. There was a couple of sets there where we were in good ball territory past the Penrith 50 and Metcalf didn't even touch the ball. Everything was going Chanel Harris-Tavita. So it had us all wondering what the extent of the injury was. Luckily, we found out after game it was just a cork.
It would have been why they kept him out there, I think. He's hoping that he would run it off or something.
I think so, mate. I think so.
Cotton wool.
But, it was just one of those games and where we, as much as we tried, like Webby said, as much as we tried, things just went against us. And then we had some really brain-dead plays in that second half where Roger gets caught offside from a kickoff. Ford gets that late tackle from an obvious knock on where play had stopped and he comes in and I can't remember we put the hit on. We get a late consolation try from MGT, but which was great ball playing again from Vaimunga to put him into space. But yeah, mate, it was just one of those games where, a banana skin game exactly.
I agree 100% with 100%. Craig.
Yep.
I have the receipts. To prove that I just had a really uneasy feeling about this game, and like you touched on when we played the baby Broncos 2 years ago in was it Napier or somewhere like where that game where all the locals couldn't stop running on the field.
Yep.
That we had that. We played. I remember playing Penrith back in 2018. Remember when they had all their Origin players out, and the young unknown called Jerome Luai stepped up.
I was at that game. That was at Penrith Stadium.
Yeah,
I was at that game.
Do you know what's interesting about that game though? The following week we played the Broncos at Suncorp and smashed them. So yeah. So hopefully, guess we're playing this week. Look, we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah,
I said to you like off camera last week, or in one of the many conversations we had, I feared that the bye could thwart all that momentum that we built up over the past couple of weeks. Players get used to being out on the field. They go through their weekly routines of training, getting ready for game day, go out, play the game. Then all of a sudden you get a week off.
You're suck all the energy out of it, kind of like you're ready to go. It was
and then you kind of restart. You kind of restart again, and then if you come up against a side like Penrith, who are desperate for a win to stay in touch with the top 8, all those young guys trying to press their claims for contracts or future inclusion in that strong Penrith squad. And it comes around and bites us on the arse. And look, I'd never expected that we'd go through the remainder of the season without dropping a game. And I know we've got to drop a game here and there. And I guess we're lucky because when you look at our draw after the next bye, everyone that we play is considerably below us on the ladder except for the Bulldogs. The thing that probably stands out for me, the worrying sign for me is Penrith are a team that's a game that probably kickstarts Penrith's season again.
It's such a game for them to build on, and they'll look back on that. They'll probably, as I said to you, guys, they'll be talking about that win for years.
Yep,
because they were the biggest underdogs of the round. They had the 5 of their best players out, in addition to all the players they've lost from last year as well. They came over to New Zealand, and look, from the outset, it's just like they just wanted it more. They were just they ran harder, they tackled harder. Leota had the game of his life. Of course, he was going to coming up against his former front row partner in JFH, and whether you like it or not, or whether anyone likes to admit it or not, you couldn't have gone into that game without some sort of element of complacency. Not that they would have ever admit it, but if you're playing against 4-time premiers and they've got all their best players out, you're like, we sort of got to just turn up to win this. And it kind of felt like we didn't really get into doing the hard yards first.
Yeah.
Like it got to a point where we just tried to cut straight to the chase and sort of went away from what we've been doing so well all season.
The other thing too is
most disappointing for me. Yeah.
You think back a couple of weeks when the Penrith Panthers, without their Origin stars, played the Newcastle Knights, and they got towed up beaten in Bathurst. So that could have been in the back of the minds. And I'm not saying teams look past other teams, but I said to you the other day, I liken it to 2018 when we won our first 5 games of that season, and St George were also on a 5-game winning streak, and the Broncos weren't going particularly well that year. And we had them in round 6, and we had the Dragons in round 7. And everyone was talking about the top of the table clash that was going to happen in round 7. And we played the Broncos and got beat, and then came out and played the Dragons and won. And sometimes teams can look past the team that's in front of them to what's happening further down the track. I take nothing away from Penrith. I thought they were great. They deserved their win. And guys filling in for other guys. I thought Brad Snyder was good in the halves. I thought Dane Laurie was outstanding for them at fullback, mate. What's his name? Tom Jenkins changed the game.
Milky Jenkins, I heard someone refer to him as. Yeah, he carved us up. Yeah.
Yep, changed the game. There was a certain try in the first half where he went for an intercept and knocked the ball down. And if he doesn't get that, Dallin scores in the corner. And then you had the intercept that he got in the second half. They played incredibly well. Take nothing away from them. But yeah, I think not having Capewell in that side, it goes to show too. And our New South Wales Cup side are humming along nicely, but Mawala Graham Taufa looked a little bit out of sorts in that game as well. But yeah, it's one of those things we move on. It's just Penrith are now sitting in 5th spot, a real danger team in that top 8 now. But for me, as I said, Penrith are obviously 4-time premiers. They're a quality team. They've got great depth in their squad, as it's shown. And the 4 games that we've been tested this year, we haven't come away with a win. The Penrith, Melbourne, and the 2 Raiders games. And they're the games. They're the games you want to win if you want to be a true contender for the title.
And to be taken seriously in those conversations. Yeah,
absolutely. We got beaten in every facet of the attack stats on the weekends. 45% possession. We had our worst completion rate with 79%. And Penrith won all those key attack stats in the game. But we seem to play better and free in Australia. Yeah, interesting.
So far, yes.
Because that's two losses at home now, isn't it? The last 2 games.
2 consecutive losses, yeah. So that and the Raiders game. It felt like an eternity between those 2 games, though, didn't it? Felt like the Raiders game was about over a month ago, which I think it was, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, mate, let's look at our Dean Pell medal points for this week. And our Dean Pell medal points are brought to us by Vital Man, the natural Australian supplements for men. Vital Man, take the lead. Who did you give your 3-2-1 to, mate, this weekend?
It was a little bit difficult because I sort of floated in and out of the game while I was at the musical, but I did get to see the most of it. It wasn't game to go back and rewatch it, but yeah, from what I did see, look, I thought Jacob Laban had a massive game, close to his best game in first grade this year. He got my 3 points. He was dangerous in attack. He's going to be a handful out that edge, and it's really exciting for the future to have a back row of young guys like Laban, Halasima, and then throw Aaron Clark, his experience in there as well. So future is so bright for the young forwards coming through that production line. 2 points I gave to
CNK.
I did. CNK. Yeah. I was going to think for a minute then. I gave Chance 2 points. He had his moments under the high ball, I think, as all the back 3 did. We really got tested under the high ball. He spilled a lot of bombs, but as always, he keeps us in the game with his strong kick returns, and he's looking more and more dangerous. He's always looking like beating the first man at the moment. So I gave him my 2 points. Like he tries his guts out every single week. And you can see why we've invested in him as our long-term fullback option.
Correct.
And 1 point I gave to Jacko Ford. I think he's continued to offer that impact off the bench. He's scoring tries. He's always making over 100 meters. He's not a huge man, but he's really hard to bring down, and he gets a lot of close contact meters as well, which is really valuable. And yeah, like he made 40 odd tackles again. So he's bang for buck every week, Jacko Ford.
Yep, sweet.
Yourself?
Mate, I gave my 3 points to Aaron Clark. He's been a mainstay in that Warriors forward pack all year. 139 run meters, 55 post contact, 43 tackles. I gave my 2 points to Jacob Laban for a lot of the reasons that you suggested. He had his biggest game in first grade so far, 99 run meters, 29 post contact, 5 tackle breaks, a line break, 38 tackles and 1 try. And I gave my 1 point to Chance. He just, as you said, he's just an effort-on-effort player. So many times coming out of our yardage sets, he has 2 carries per set. 215 run meters, 64 post-contact, 7 tackle breaks. So they were my 3-2-1s. A couple of guys, as you said, that deserve a bit of mention. Jackson Ford, as you said, 119 run meters, 63 post-contact. Half his run meters were post-contact meters, 42 tackles. James Fisher-Harris with 44 tackles in the middle. Egan with 44 tackles. And RTS was quite good, bringing the ball back in yardage, 172 run meters, 48 post-contact, and 5 tackle breaks. So our vital man Dean Bell medal standings for the season so far. Chan's starting to make his way, try to close that gap on Aaron Clark, but Aaron Clark's still way out in front on 45 Player of the Year points. Chan's on 23, and then a host of others behind him. But yeah, Aaron Clark's to lose this season.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been the buy of the season every week. Yeah. It never gives you a bad game. He's always at least a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, just a little, not a lot of Warriors news around at the moment. Just a little bit of Warriors news. Obviously, we got the injury to Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. Not as serious an injury as they first thought. Doesn't require surgery, but he will spend 4 to 6 weeks on the sideline. Webby's already shown his hand with Ed Causey named on the wing. We thought maybe Tane Tuapiki might have been selected since he was the guy at the beginning of the year when Dallin wasn't available.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Ed has done a really good job when he's been called up into first grade, and I think he surpassed a lot of people's expectations, or exceeded a lot of people's expectations, I should say. I really feel like this is like a size move. I think they're wanting a little bit more size. The Broncos are a fairly big back line as well, so they would be wanting that extra go forward. Tane. He copped that really nasty shot in New South Wales Cup a couple of weeks ago. So whether or not he's still recovering from that, I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But yeah, look, I'm not opposed to having Ed in there at all. So yeah, but we'll get onto that in the team list. Yeah,
absolutely. The other bit of news is a little bit of noise now around the NRLW. That kicks off Thursday week. And the Warriors will play their first game at Allianz Stadium on Sunday. I think it's the 7th of July against the reigning premiers, the Sydney Roosters. RP Nichols has been named the NRLW captain for season 2025. She is Warrior number 2, played fullback in our first ever game back in 2018. In 2018 and 2019, when there was only 4 teams in the comp, she played all 3 games both seasons. So she has played 6 games for the Warriors. As I said, Warrior number 2. She missed the 2020 season due to COVID. That was a year where we only had 5 girls come over from New Zealand, and the squad was made up predominantly of Aussie-based players who will forever be grateful for those girls that came and represented the Warriors. Many of who appeared on this podcast with us: Brianna Clark, Kira Dibb, and the legend of women's rugby league, Karina Brown, to name a few. Uppy sat out the 2021 season. Then 2022, she played 5 games for the Titans, and she's played 17 games for the Raiders 2023-2024. Returned home. One of the first to return home for the Warriors, and new coach Rod Griffiths has named her as our captain for 2025. I think it's a great appointment. Our squad this year is going to be a very young, inexperienced squad, but I'm really excited to see how these girls, take on the season and shape and mould themselves into a team. Griffiths, as coach, he won 2 premierships with Newcastle, so he knows what he's doing. I think he's going to get the best out of these girls. But yeah, congratulations to Arpi.
You get the jerseys. And we'll have merchandise has been released as well this week. So if you want to get
saw that.
A lot of people had expressed interest in getting the NRLW kit a few years ago. Well, when was it? Last time it was 5 years ago, and they weren't
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
But, so this year you can get your hands on it, the home and away, warm-up tees and everything. So there was a members pre-sale this morning, but that'll be available to everyone soon, I think. So yeah, jump in there and check it out if you want to rep the girls.
Yep. So yeah, looking forward to including the Warriors Wahine Toa in our weekly chat moving forward as of next week, I think. Yeah. Just on the pathways, mate. Our flag played Penrith. They had 3 games at Mount Smart or Go Media Stadium on Saturday. Flag kicked off the day. They went down 40-14 against the Panthers. Wondering if Ivan was there to watch young Jet run around in that game. Our cup, 32-12 over the Panthers. That's 10 in a row now for our New South Wales Cup side.
Amazing.
And 14 from 15 this season. It's interesting too because a lot of talk on NRL 360 this week has been about the Dragons in New South Wales Cup who have won 8 in a row, and the players from that squad not getting a game in first grade. Here we are, our team has won 10 in a row, and it's kind of the same thing. But I guess the little bit of difference is that we've been winning in first grade.
And the coach's
and I think a lot of
playing halfback.
No, Webby's son's not playing. So
I had to laugh. Like Lachlan Ilias has been killing it in reserve grade, and it was really weird. Like he seemed to have a bit of an agenda against Ilias. Did Flano? So yeah,
he did. Yeah, because early on in the season when they were losing all their games, it was Ilias's fault at halfback, and now that they're continuing to lose and the Scarecrow Kyle's playing there, it's not his fault. They've dropped Terrell Sloan and told him he can look elsewhere.
They're dropping everyone. So it'll just be Kyle running out for the Dragons. You guys are letting my son down.
Wonderful. Katie Williams is saying that her mum and dad are here from New Zealand for the Bronco Warriors game this weekend. Stay tuned because we're going to talk to everyone very soon about the pre-game event that's happening this weekend before the Broncos game. So, Katie, hopefully you get along to that one, and we'll chat about that very, very soon. I just want to do a quick recap of round 16. Friday night, the Tigers played the Raiders. Raiders 16 over the Tigers 12. It was one of those games, mate, where it looked like the Raiders succumbed to the lackadaisy attitude that happens after you get the bye. Tigers really took it to them. Jed Stewart, Ricky Stewart's son.
Boy.
Yeah, became a Raider, I don't know, 296 or 301 or whatever, I don't know. It's the 10th father-son coach-player combo in rugby league history. I don't know if you'd be able to name all 10.
Oh, well, we just spoke about one. And then we got Ivan and Nathan. We've got Jacob and Brad Arthur.
Yep.
We've got Chris Anderson, and he had two sons.
So that counts as 2.
Yeah, Chris and Ben Anderson, and Chris and his other son. I can't remember his name. Jared might have been at Sharks, and one was at. How many is that?
That's 4.
Martin Lang and Johnny Lang.
5.
Are any of them others recent, or are we going back in time?
One's recent. Think Broncos last year.
Yeah, Kevy and Billy.
Yep.
I was about to say Darius and Wayne. That's
Don't forget the one that's running around this year at the Dragons, mate.
Well, yeah, of course, Flano and Kyle and the Scarecrow. Yeah.
And you got you got Ricky and Jed. So there's Ricky 2 more. There's 2 more.
How recent is it?
Not recent at all. You probably go back to
Scott Fulton and Bob Fulton.
Yep.
Yep.
And the other one, mate, you should get. Think our club.
Endicott.
Yes.
Frank Endicott and Shane Endicott.
Very good. Very good, mate. Very impressed.
Geez.
Very
Jeez,
impressed.
oh, how could I forget that one? Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Jed and Ricky became the 10th father-son combo coach-player. Yeah, Latu Fainu, I thought he was great when he came on the second half.
Yeah, he looks good.
It was the Tigers' discipline that cost them the game in the end, in that one. Saturday obviously kicked off with the Panthers 28 over the Warriors 18. Then another upset, the Knights 26 over the Dolphins 20.
Yeah,
Played at HBF Park or Malmaninga Stadium in Perth.
So, yeah, the big story out of that was the ACL to Bostock, isn't it? Coming off 4 tries and
that and the lacerated kidney for Fletcher
yeah,
Sharp.
Fletcher Sharp. Yeah, he still hasn't come back from Perth. He's still in
No,
hospital over there
yeah,
or something. Yeah, that's a bit of a nasty one.
yeah.
Yes, a couple of really big injuries there. I was definitely surprised to see the Knights get up, although Bradman Best was back and he made a huge difference to their side.
And it was probably Kalen Ponga's best game of the season too for the Knights. He played quite well for the Knights.
Yeah, he certainly did, and yeah, bit of an upset, but yeah, plenty of points scored. It was an entertaining kind of game, but the Knights probably deserved their win.
And then it was almost a third upset for Super Saturday with the Storm getting a golden point win over the Rabbitohs, 25-24. I was death riding the Storm just so that we could stay in third spot. Mate, Alex Johnston, a 4-try haul from him. That moves him on to 206 career tries. He's only 6 tries shy of Ken Irvine's all-time record, which looks to, in the last 10 weeks of the comp, if he doesn't score 6 tries in the next 10 games, yeah, I'm a bad judge of rugby league because it looks like he'll take that record this year, and that's going to be a big one. Sunday, the Broncos 34 over the Sharks 28. Fucking Sharks led that one 24-12 at half time and jumped out to a
28-12 right
lead.
after half time, and then just
I said it 2 weeks ago. The Sharks won't make the 8. They'll slide.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they played the Broncos right back into form for us.
Well,
of course, they're returning the favour after we smashed them a couple of weeks ago. So.
Yeah. The Roosters 42 over the Cowboys 8. Cowboys are another team that's just struggling to find any form. Haven't won a game since they moved Jackson Purdue from centre to 5'8".
They moved him back this week.
They moved him back. Yeah. Exactly right. And then the final game of the round, the Spoon Bowl. The Eels 36 over the Titans 20.
Definite Spoon Bowl quality kind of game, wasn't it?
And good to see Desi at the end of that one has told all his coaching staff they can start looking for jobs. Oh, I don't know.
But I'm staying.
And the Seagulls, Bulldogs, Dragons all had the bye. So the ladder after round 16, the Bulldogs remain on top of the ladder with 28 competition points. The Raiders remain in second on 26, with the Storm moving into third and the Warriors dropping to fourth. Those two teams both on 24 points. A significant points gap back to the Broncos in fifth, the Sharks in sixth, the Roosters in seventh. All three of those teams on 18 points, with the Panthers moving into the top 8. The Panthers have moved up, haven't they? They're on 19 points. Yeah, that's right. And then the Dolphins have dropped out of the 8. Seagulls and Dragons on 16 points with them. The Cowboys continue to drop down the ladder. They're now in 12th spot on 15 points. The Knights, Tigers, Rabbits and Eels behind them at 14, and the Titans last on the ladder with 12 points. I haven't got any talking points noted for this week. Anything of note to speak about on the NRL, apart from Desi telling everyone to
start looking for interest elsewhere.
Peter Volandi's talking about how he wants Wayne Bennett involved in the PNG team too when they come in 2028 or 9 or something.
Yeah. Oh, he's been Mr. Rugby League himself has been up in PNG this week. Apparently checking out the facilities, reckons it's top notch, and he said something like it's going to be great for players to get up there and live in this resort style accommodation and experience the natural beauty of PNG. I don't doubt that there is a lot of natural beauty there, but I think you'd want to be heavily secure when you do go out there. I know a lot of people that have lived in Papua New Guinea over the years said, well, it is a really nice place, beautiful place. Locals are really friendly, but yeah, obviously there is a lot of security concerns there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the NRL will be working overtime to try and put everyone's minds at ease. But Volandes also said, "Oh, you don't have to worry about the PNG side not being competitive." He said they're going to be the next Penrith. Did you see his comment like that?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be largely compiled of sort of local players, PNG hunters, players from the Queensland Cup. They're going to take their time, but I think in due course they may become a bit of a superstar. What am I trying to say? Like a good production line of players, but yeah, we're going to have to wait for it.
It's like
Billy in the first 3 or 4 years. Yeah,
Billy Moore came out and said the Perth Bears will win a premiership in 5 years, in their first 5 years.
But look, it's again, I go back to the point. Do people actually realise how far away Perth is? Like people will refuse to go to New Zealand, right? A lot of players will say, I don't want to go to New Zealand because I'll be too far away from friends and family. So if you're from Brisbane or Sydney or East Coast, like New Zealand is a good hour and a half closer to
Perth.
Than Perth. Perth is a 5-hour flight from Brisbane. Not sure what it is from Sydney.
Around the same.
Around the same, yeah. So New Zealand's about a 3.5 hour flight from Brisbane. So we were talking to Cam George, and he was like, "Well, if you're going to consider Perth, then surely you're going to consider New Zealand as well. If your reasoning is, proximity between friends and family. I mean, Perth is like I've never been there, so I can't talk about what it's like there. But people, I have had family that live there, and they said it's a really great place to live. But it is very isolated. Perth itself is quite isolated as well, down on sort of like the southwest coast there. But, so they'll have their work cut out with recruitment, that's for sure.
Yeah, I reckon the Hunters are probably going to have a harder time recruiting players.
They certainly will. They certainly will. There was talk. I heard during the week, Blake Solly, the Rabbitohs CEO, saying that they wouldn't stand in the way of Alex Johnston if he wants to finish his career and be like the first sort of marquee signing for the PNG franchise, because he has been the national captain.
Yep.
And I think that would be a good way to sort of finish his career. But guys like you would have said, Justin Olam would have been like a founder if he hadn't have been retired this year. I'm sure. I think he had a clause in his contract.
Isn't Jack DeBellin Papua New Guinean as well?
Yeah, and the guys from the centre from the Cowboys as well.
Robert Derby?
No, not. Oh, mate, he might be as well. But
Zach Laybutt.
The Laybutt boys. Yeah. PNG affiliated. I think what happens is
Xavier Coates.
Xavier Coates. I think he may go there at the end of his career. I think he'll be one of those guys that may go there for a year or two at the end. But there's a lot of people that go there for work. I knew a lot of people. I knew quite a few people that were born in PNG, but just because their parents were there working in the mines and other sort of business ventures up there in PNG. So, yeah, but fanatical about their footy. And I do agree it's a good place to have a team, but it's just the logistics and everything. Like it makes sense in terms of what they'll have the support and everything. That's not in doubt. Yeah.
If you were a player, mate, and you had the choice of going to Papua New Guinea or Perth, which franchise would you be going to?
Oh, jeez. I mean, Papua New Guinea would be a heck of an experience, especially being there in the early days. That's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know. PNG.
Yeah, I'd go PNG as well.
Yeah,
I'd definitely go PNG.
Living in another country, and like there being in all of that sort of culture there would be quite cool.
Yeah, well, it'd kind of be like the Warriors embracing the multiculture. Especially the last couple of years. It would be that kind of thing. It'd be a real eye opener for some players to be to see that and be involved in that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. What year do they? Is it 28 or 29 that they come in?
Well, what year are the Bears? The Bears are 28?
27.
27. I think that might be 28. Yeah, I think PNG might be 28. Yeah.
All right.
The other bit of rugby league NRL news is the media manager for the Broncos is caught drink driving.
Yep.
Enough said. Enough said. As I said to you boys, I wonder who put the press release out that.
Is
that
he
happened.
related to Ezra Mam?
She.
Oh, she. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, did you see Ezra Mam and Spencer Leniu buried the hatchet?
Yeah. So now he can stop getting annoyed at people booing him for standing up for himself against Spencer Leniu. So now that's all done. I think he's probably expecting the boos to end as well. I don't know, but hard to know what's going on with Ezra there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see the reception that he gets from the Wars fans this weekend.
I was going to say that, mate. Now, speaking of the Wars fans this weekend, we take on the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium for round 17. Before we go through the team list, there is a that is happening at the Lord Alfred Hotel, which is on the corner of Cack Street and whatever that other street. It kicks off at 11 a.m. If anyone has never been to one of these pre-game events that we Brisbane for Magic Round, you got to get yourself to this one. If you're planning on going to the game, if you've got tickets for the game, get to the Lord Alfred 11 a.m. If you haven't got tickets for the game and you're in Brisbane, get to the Lord Alfred Hotel. It's an event hosted by Warrior Nation, Richie Morgan of Warrior Nation. He works tirelessly to get these events happening. He's got so many contacts throughout Australia for different venues. We are lucky enough to have him based here in Sydney, and he's organised pre-game events for the remaining of the games here in Sydney. But this is a massive one, mate. You're going to be there. You were at the last one. Yep. A couple of weeks back.
It was massive.
Yep.
The event against the Magic Round was awesome. Like Magic Round this year was the best one that I've been to so far.
Yep.
And the fan event at Lord Alfred just absolutely went off. It was just such a great vibe. All the chants going, the drums, everyone was just in great spirits. And then the Dolphins game went up to another level. Like everyone just caught on and everyone just saw what happened and wanted to be a part of it. So that march down Caxton Street. So make sure if you can't make it to the Lord Alfred and you can't do any of that, at least get to the top of Caxton Street by 2 p.m.
2 p.m. for the Hickory down to the stadium. Yep.
That's it. So make sure you be a part of that. Don't just sit there and go, oh, gee, I wish I could have done that. Like, get there. Like Hammer just said, even if you don't have tickets to the game, turn up to that, wear your Wars jerseys. You can watch the game there at the Lord Alfred because we're all coming back there after the game as well.
Yep.
So, get keen, get involved. This is an event for absolutely everyone. And that's what Richie is trying to do. That's always been his goal and his vision and his dream is to get all the Warriors fans together here in Australia, whether you're from Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, anywhere. Get them all together, watch the games together, and just be one tribe. And
I can remember the first one we did at the Lord Alfred, way back in 2021, I think it was.
21, yes.
21.
21, yep.
We had a Warrior Nation pre-game event. There was probably about 50 people in the back bar. We had Tukes and Campo turn up for that one, which was great. Parramatta were also having one upstairs at the time, so Ray Price was kind of wandering around in that. And then from there, it's just grown. We've been very fortunate to be able to bring along some ex-Warriors players. It's got to and we used to do a bit of a Q&A with them on stage. It's gotten to the point where it's that big now that that kind of thing can't happen anymore. There will be
can't do it, yeah.
There will be ex-players there. Tukes and Campo are always at these events. So get yourself to the Lord Alfred upstairs in the event room or the function room. Brian Calland will be there with his recorder. If anyone sees Brian go anywhere near the drum, you are permitted to hit him with the drumstick. We love you, Brian. You're a fucking champion, mate. Good to see you in the chat, brother. Unfortunately, being based in Sydney, I won't be at this one this time round. Rob will be representing Ruin Hammer. If you haven't met Rob before, but you've seen him on screen, by all means go up, say hello, get a photo with the big man. And like I said, Richie Morgan was going to be on tonight. He was going to talk about these events because it's much better coming from the man with a passion. But he's a little bit under the weather and we need him right for the weekend.
So day ready. He has to be ready. Yeah.
So he's at home with his bowl of bone broth, with his dressing gown and his slippers on, making sure he's going to be all right for the weekend. Mate, the team list. Have you got the team list for this week's game?
I certainly do. So the team that Webby named to take on the Broncos, it's at our second home, Suncorp Stadium. It's Chance, Nickel, Cookstone, fullback, Ed Cozzy coming in on the wing, as we mentioned before, along with RTS on the other wing, Adam Pompey and Rocco Berry back into the team. Hopefully he can start to string some games together this year.
Yep.
He's been totally out of luck in that department. Arbs, Chanel, Harris, Tavita, and Luke Metcalf coming back from, he had that corked thigh last week, but seems to be good to go. Front row, James Fisher-Harris, Wade Egan, Murata Niokore in there. Kurt Capewell returning from Origin duty, along with Jacob Laban and Aaron Clark in the back row. Interchange bench, Tamate Martin, Jackson Ford, Demetric Vimunga, and Leka Halasima back to the interchange bench. And the extended squad is Tanistale Smith, Tanner Boyd, Sam Healy, Bunty Arfoa, and Tane Tuapiki. As I mentioned before, it was a little bit of a surprise to not see Tane reclaim that wing spot, as he was first choice at the start of the year. But as I mentioned before, I think Webby's going more for size there, and Ed has done a really good job when he's been called on. And he does cop it a fair bit from a lot of the fan base. But he's been really good when he has been given opportunities this year. Magic round, he played with like a broken collarbone or something, didn't he? So it was a really gutsy effort from him. He's a lovely guy and obviously one of our favourites here at Ruin Hammer. So it's great to see him get another run. But I was a little bit surprised not to see Tane in there. What are your thoughts on that selection?
Yeah, same, mate. I thought Tane might have got the nod. I'm not against Ed being there, and I think everything that you've said is on point. Karapani, Tony Staggs, Gamet Shibasaki, big men, quite big men in their outside backs there for the Broncos. So, under the high ball too, Tane can be a little bit suspect with the pressure on him and that. I'm not against Ed. Ed and Jackson Ford have been those two players, and Dallin as well, those kind of players where they do have a mistake in them. And you kind of get your heart in your throat every time they take the ball up. But Ed's ball security's been quite good this season when he's played first grade, so nothing against that. Probably the surprise for me was Murata Niokore being named, because last week, by all reports, he failed a HIA. Webby came out in the press conference after the game and said that it was a cut to his nose. It was the reason he didn't go back on. So obviously that's been cleared up because he's named to play this week. And then, of course, Luke Metcalf as well, under a bit of an injury cloud last week during the game. Hoping that it was just a cork and he's right to play, because you can see these corks can sometimes linger as well. Good to see Pompey had no issues with his goal kicking on the weekend, though. So if Metcalf can't goal kick, Pompey's a reliable replacement.
Yeah, we don't lose anything there.
No.
75% goal kicker as well. So
we need to this week we need to get back to our pre-bye form. We need to make sure our defence is resilient again, get that connection back within the players. Injuries, I think, last week, losing Niokore, losing DWZ, and having to do that shift especially in the back line, was a bit of a distraction and disruption. Not using it as an excuse. No, mate, no, not too many ciggies. I don't smoke, brother. I'm suffering from getting over COVID and pneumonia. So that's where I'm coming from. But thanks for the concern. The thing for me is Walsh and Reynolds are the massive dangers for Brisbane. Only have to think back to when we played them last time. It was a golden point game and a mistake from a kickoff that got us a 50-metre penalty goal to win us a game. I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I agree. That's a very strong Brisbane side, and they are coming off 2 consecutive wins. So this is their 3rd consecutive home game as well. What a surprise, eh? 3rd consecutive.
I thought they actually played every game at home. Don't they play every game at home?
All their away games seem to be at home as well. They play the Dolphins. And, everyone brings home games to Brisbane.
Yeah. Well, that's it. They get the Dolphins game in Brisbane. They play the Titans
Manly,
away game.
Manly
like Magic Round.
Yeah,
Magic Round, they're the away team. They play the Dolphins just down not the Dolphins, the Titans just down the road. They don't leave Southeast Queensland very often in a season. But yeah, I'm Walsh is playing under a bit of an injury cloud. He's got some PCL injury, which is injury.
What he picked up against us. Yep. So first tackle of the game, actually, in that game at Mount Smart, his old mate Kurt Capewell got stuck into him. So maybe give his old knee a bit of attention.
Yep. And again, Reynolds' kicking game is going to be the key for them. Ezra Mam's also a danger.
His running game is what worries me. Yeah, he's a real threat close to the line.
The workload of Payne Haas in the middle, going to have to really lock up his offload game.
Him and Carrigan as well. When they get going, that's really what sort of killed us particularly in that second half against Penrith. They just ran us ragged. They knew that we were down in personnel.
It's going to be It's going to be a tough game, mate. Do you have a prediction?
Oh, look. So I know this is you're probably going to laugh because this is the prediction I have every week. I'm going to go for a nervous 4-point victory, but there's method to my madness because the last 2 games we played, the last 2 wins we've had at Suncorp this year have been by 4 points and have been bloody nervous wins. Okay. So I'm going to stick with that. I think we can get the job done, but we need to be our defense needs to be alert to all these threats that they've got across the park. As you said, we got to stop the go forward. We've got to cut out the offload. We've got to watch those nippy blokes like Walsh and guys like Ezra Mam. Adam Reynolds' kicking game, we've got to be aware of that because he catches teams out with his long kicking game as well and going to getting those 40-20s. So, look, I think if we can get back to where we were before the bye and recapture a bit of that form, then I think we should be able to get a win. But yeah, it's going to be a nervous one.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to be a golden point game, and I'm golden point, and I can't necessarily say that we will come out of it victorious if it goes to golden point.
Yeah, well, I don't like our chances with slotting a field goal. I mean, Luke Metcalf has kicked one to win us the game this year, but under pressure in Golden Point, we never seem to go that well with field goals without SJ there. He was the only one that could really ice those games.
Maybe James Fisher-Harris can do a Sam Mazzoni and have a shot at goal.
Have a big air swing.
I'll say Golden Point victory. I think we'll just get home.
Golden try, it might have to be.
It's gonna be extremely close. And I estimate the score. The lead will change about 3 or 4 times in this game. And and you won't be comfortable at all in your seat.
No, I never am.
Suncorp Stadium.
I never am. Oh yeah, there's lots of different sections of concrete in Suncorp Stadium that have been well worn after many visits there. But like I said, we've played there twice this year already, and we've had 2 wins, and we know that we're going to get amazing support from the crowd. It's legit like a sellout game, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the tickets, you can't get a ticket to this game. So
No.
I'm lucky enough to be going along with my good buddy Tim, who's got us some really red hot seats.
Yep.
I think we're behind the Broncos bench.
Nice.
So, yeah. So maybe
throw shit at him.
Yeah, maybe if Ezra Mam gets subbed off, I can maybe give him a bit of advice on how to be an upstanding citizen.
Are you going to partake in the great Suncorp Stadium hot dogs?
No, I am, unlike your good self, I am not a fan of hot dogs at all. I just don't dig a Frankfurter. But nah. But if I did, I would be smothering it in sauce and mustard. Unlike you, who just I don't know how you do that.
I normally do have sauce and mustard on and cheese on my hot dog, but those Suncorp Stadium ones are nice just as they are. I love them.
Natural flavour. Yeah. It's interesting because our good mate Retro Rugby League has to disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, well, he may know everything.
Review
he may know everything about jerseys, but he knows nothing about hot dogs.
Yeah, sweet.
Ryan. It is like a home game for the Wales up there in Queensland. Titans games and Suncorp Stadium games always get great support for the Warriors at any of those games. And I dare say that Richie Morgan's voice and the drum will drown out all the Broncos chants.
As long as it's Aaron on the drum and not Brian.
Yeah, no, Brian. Well, Brian's saying he's going to bring his recorder. I reckon Brian should bring one cymbal so that at the end of the drumming he can go. Tss.
Oh, what was that really annoying instrument that they banned from the Soccer World Cup in South Africa all those years ago?
The
kazoo or something?
What was it called? Something. I know the one. It was that fucking windy thing. Vivuzela or something it was called.
Yeah. We've got a question here.
Serious question. Did you guys copy nicknames off Bloke in the Bar?
What nicknames exactly?
Yeah, what nicknames? Our nicknames? What's Brian pointing at? Oh, sorry, he's sticking his finger up at us. Get your symbol. Get your symbol. Vivuzela, that's it. That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
What nicknames from Bloke in the Bar?
I'm not sure about the nicknames. No. I'm sure he'll get back to us about that. But Vuvuzela, is that what it was? It's the most annoying. It's the most annoying sounds in the world. I think they have them at like the Indian cricket test matches and stuff as well. You always hear weird.
A triangle will be good. Easier to carry too, mate. You can stick that in your pocket.
Yeah. Or a tambourine, little tambourine. Something like that. Yeah.
Or what about a harmonica? You can bring a harmonica, Brian. Hey?
Oh, we might need that for our blues after the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, bit of a depressing one. Yeah.
Did you happen to catch the interview that Sean Johnson did with? I know we do know of Dennon Kemp's podcast, The Bloke in a Bar, but I don't understand what you're referencing in regards to our nicknames.
Do you mean like nicknames that we give to players and that sort of thing? Yeah, no, definitely not our nicknames, but
no, our nicknames are our nicknames.
Yeah.
Beware what you wish for. Well, I'm not going to be there, mate. So all good. I must say, Brian, I did see the video of Ricky's Wars Man Cave.
Yeah, Ricky Russell's joint.
That looks awesome. Saw that you were there, mate. I said to Ricky the other day that possibly get up there and have a look at that, and he suggested that we do a live Ruin Hammer podcast from his man cave. So we'll talk to Ricky and see if we can organise that for later in the year.
Yeah, hopefully if we get into the finals, we might be able to do something live from
Ricky's
the Wah Bar.
Yeah,
at Caboolture.
Absolutely. for a Warriors home final in New Zealand.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, Sean Johnson, his new podcast, they have a hammer and a roo on their pod. Oh, do they really?
Really?
No, didn't know that. Their roo is Guru. Oh, yeah, okay. So roo short for Guru. I know the Guru. Rugby League Guru. And who's their hammer?
Yeah, that's where he got his name from, wasn't it? Kangaroo or something like that.
Yeah.
But no. Nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with that. We've got our Rob's always been known as Warrior Roo ever since he's been supporting the Warriors and being an Aussie, and that's a nickname he got from his mates. And unfortunately, when I went to school, my initials are MC. When I went to school, there was a great artist known as MC Hammer.
Time.
And everyone used to call me MC Hammer, and I hated it when I was at school. But I own it now because most people have forgotten about the broke brother MC Hammer. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
G'day to Sean, one of our gold Patreons there. Welcome.
Hey, brother. Sean. Good to see you, brother. Back to Sean Johnson's League Lounge podcast that he started.
Yep.
He had Wade Egan on the other day, and he asked Wade if he would ever consider representing the Kiwis. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that. I'll have to switch back to my NZ VPN so I can watch that on YouTube. What was his answer?
He said that it's always a possibility, but at this stage he wants to keep his origin dream alive. As much as we love Wade Egan, I don't think he's ever going to play origin. If he's never in the conversation for origin, is he? Poor old Wade.
I mean, his name gets brought up, but I think as long as Laurie Daly's coach, he's just going to pick whoever picked the hooker beforehand.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
He's not the most think outside the box kind of coach.
No.
So I don't know. It would probably take a bit of an injury crisis in the hooking stakes for New South Wales for him to get a look in. But
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. NRL round 17 kicks off tomorrow night. The Panthers versus the Bulldogs at Combank Stadium. Penrith's Origin stars will return. All eyes will be on Nathan Cleary after his pre-Origin thigh injury. Bulldogs. They've named Sexton and Burton in their halves. Lockie Galvin to come off the bench. Who you get in this one, mate?
I think the Bulldogs will be too strong, but I think it'll be a really close one. I think Penrith have got good momentum behind them now, and I think they'll push them all the way, but I think they'll push them for the duration, but I think the Bulldogs in a close one.
I'm going to say the Panthers. Nathan Cleary to get back-to-back wins over his ex-assistant coaches. I think the Panthers are back. I think last week was a real turning point for their season. Yeah. And I think the week off for the Bulldogs will have the same effect on what it had for the Warriors. I'm going to pick the Penny Panthers in that one. Friday.
Always has been one of our greatest weapons.
Yes. Yeah. Friday, the Sea Eagles versus the West Tigers at 4 Pines Park down there at Manly. They seem to have had a lot of home games this year as well. Tommy Turbo moving to the centres. Lehigh Hopewadi at fullback. Ruben Garrick pushes out to the wing. Ex-Warrior, Matt Lodge, named to start in the front row. One of the greats. The Tigers have named Latu Fainu at halfback, pushing Jerome Luai out to 6. Heath Mason named at fullback for the injured Jareen Buller. Mate, this is a hard one to pick because both teams
really hard,
really not playing good footy. I'm going to go Manly only because they're at home.
Yeah, I have to agree. The Tigers, while they're much improved and they're in a lot of their games, I still think some of the same issues sort of remain with them. They're just like even last week, they just didn't have like the extra polish to go on with the game.
No.
And I think it might be the same this week. I think it'll be close, and I think there'll be quite a few points scored. I think Manly will just be a little bit too good at home.
I did like Latu Fainu when he came on last week. I thought he created a great point of difference for him. And which is great because, after everything they went through of losing
Yeah,
Lockie Galvin.
Golden Boy.
Yeah, it's good that they have someone in their stocks that can step in and play a role for them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think Manly will be too strong. Second game is the Knights versus Raiders at McDonald Jones Stadium, and another team that looks to have had a lot of home games this year. The Knights.
Yeah.
Jackson Hastings named at 6 for the injured Fletcher Sharp. Jed Stewart retains his place in the Raiders' backline. I'm going to pick the Raiders because I can't tip against them.
Oh, you can't. You can't go against the Raiders. The Knights are just like that. They're up and down. Just when you think they've looked their worst, they come out and get a win.
Yep.
Which worries me because we're playing them in about a month's time. But yeah, I think the Raiders will be too good for them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll be here for that one too, mate, in a month's time.
Be. Yeah.
Your first trip.
This year, it will be probably the most amount of Warriors games I think I've ever been to in a year. So it's been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple coming up. I've got the Knights game, going to the Bulldogs game, up for the Titans game, and then we've got the Manly game at the back end of the season there. Saturday, Broncos versus Warriors at Suncorp Stadium. No changes for the Bronx. As we said, Ed Cosy comes onto the wing for the injured DWZ. Rocco Berry moves into the centres, and Kurt Cape's back after being rested last week after Origin. We've both picked a very close Warriors victory in that one. And then from there, the standard of the game just goes downhill. Dragons versus Eels at Wynn Stadium. Corey Allen and Christian Tuapoloto return on the wing for the Dragons. Despite all the external noise, Kyle Flanagan retains his place in the halves. For the Eels, Dylan Brown returns from the suspension, and Jordan Samrani is named in the centres for the suspended Will Penasini. Mate, I'm going to pick the Eels. I liked what I saw from the Eels last week.
Yeah, again, this is another one that's so hard to pick because I don't know. Like the last time I watched the Dragons play, was that when they lost by 50? They got pumped by 50 points to the Dolphins. I'll give them one more shot. I'll stick with them because they're at home and they're sort of under fire. But boy, oh boy, if they don't perform this week, I don't know what excuses Flano's going to have.
Yeah, true. The last game of Super Saturday is the Dolphins versus Rabbits at Suncorp Stadium. Is that right?
Yeah. So it's a double header on Saturday, but there's another game in between. So this game was meant to be played in Sydney, but remember because of the cyclone during round one, they had to swap it.
So are your tickets valid for this game as well?
They're not. So I think they want everyone to clear out of the stadium while that second game's on. So Caxton Street is going to be absolutely packed after the game. So everyone, that's the controversy is that the Wars will take over the Lord Alfred, but the Lord Alfred is the official home of the Dolphins as well.
Correct.
So all their supporters will be there, but I don't think they'll get a look in.
No.
But yeah, it's an interesting one. Apparently, you have to have a ticket for the second game as well.
Okay.
Weird, but during COVID, when they used to do those double headers, when the whole comp moved to Queensland, they allowed people just to stay.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a different story. So,
all right.
But I think I'll stick with Dolphins there.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Junior Tupu. He comes onto the wing for the injured Jack Bostock. Cody Walker returns for the Rabbits into the halves with Jack White and moving back to the centres, and Campbell Graham also returns in the centres. I think this is going to be a lot closer than what people think. Cody Walker back and Campbell Graham back are two massive ins. I think the Dolphins will win, but I still reckon Alex Johnson will score a try-double.
Yep. Yeah. That's I think that's likely to happen the way he's been going.
Sunday, the Storm versus Sharks at Amy Park. For the Storm, Xavier Coates returns on the wing. Grant Anderson moves to the centres with Jack Howarth out. Interestingly, Grant Anderson was announced as he signed for the Broncos for next season.
That was a weird one because they were talking even end of last year that he'd already signed with the Broncos, but everyone knows he signed with the Broncos, but the club haven't actually acknowledged it until right now. Weird one.
Yeah. For the Sharks, Oregon Kafusi returns after missing last week's game. The slide of the Sharks is going to continue. This is where they drop completely out of the top 8. Storm to win, and I think the Storm will win comfortably.
I think this could be even 40 or 50, to be honest.
Yep.
I'm going to go to Storm in a minute.
And the final game, I can't believe this is the Channel 9 game of the round. The Titans versus the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium. For the Titans, Tom Weaver's named at halfback for the injured Jaden Campbell. Brian Kelly is named on the extended bench, and I expect that he'll be a late inclusion. For the Cowboys, as we said earlier, Jackson Purdue moves from the halves back to the centres. Jake Clifford named at 6. Yeah, this will be one of those games that's like 48-44 or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of points scored.
I'm going to go with the Titans.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans as well.
Yeah, I just don't trust the Cowboys at the moment.
Sorry, Toddy.
Yeah, it's going to heap a lot of pressure on Toddy if that does happen. Yeah, good friend of the show, but yeah, he's definitely a man under pressure at the moment.
Absolutely. And the Roosters have the bye. That was the other news that came out today. Mark Nwanga-Nitawasi has said that with the World Cup in 2027, he will probably move back to rugby union.
Yeah, so a brief taste of rugby league, and then back to the rower. Oh well, he was playing the World Cup, obviously, and that's what was probably in the forefront of his mind when he decided to give league a bit of a try, because he said that he wanted to leave 2027 open for the World Cup. So we'll see what happens.
Are the Wallabies still a team? Like, do they actually play? I don't hear.
Mate,
do they actually win?
No idea.
Yeah, do they win anything?
I think they win against like Fiji and that sort of thing when they send those teams out here. But yeah, it's hard to follow rugby over here now because it's all on Stan.
Yeah, I know.
So I haven't watched rugby in ages. I used to watch Super Rugby all the time, but now I've just sort of lost a lot of interest in rugby union.
Yep.
I just want to say about Tom Weaver. We're talking about doppelgangers. Tom Weaver, dead ringer for Kenny Powers.
Yes.
From the show Eastbound and Down. He's got that like permed mullet. That kind of Danny McBride, the actor. He's been in quite a few movies, part of that sort of frat pack. He's in Tropic Thunder, the guy with the special effects.
He's in Hot Rod. Have you seen Hot Rod with
not
what's his
name? Yeah.
And
Andy Samberg, is it?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Justin says it is clear now that Morgan is a terrible defence coach. 100%.
Oh, he was our defence coach for all those really bad years, like particularly 2022.
He was only there for like 10 years or something. Yeah, we wondered why we couldn't win games. Yeah, interesting. So that's the round. What round is it? Round 17?
Round 17.
Round 17. Yeah. Before we get into some housekeeping, just a reminder, the Warrior Nation updates that Richie was going to talk to you about tonight. So Broncos at Suncorp Stadium this weekend. We've got the pre-game event at the Lord Alfred Hotel. Jump on the Warrior Nation page to get all the details of that. Meeting at 11 at the Lord Alfred. The Hikoi or the march down to the stadium will start at 2 p.m. Make sure you get there for that. Couple of weeks, we got the Knights at Newcastle. We're playing the Knights at Newcastle. There's a pre-game event at West Leagues Club at Newcastle, where we'll be meeting there and then walking to the stadium for that game. That's also a double header with the NRLW team playing the Knights after the NRL game at 6:15 at night. So that'll be a good one to get to. Then we've got the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. Early August, I think it is, 9th of August.
August 9, yep.
There'll be a pre-game event at the locker room opposite Accor Stadium there. The Titans at Seabus a couple of weeks later, I think it's the 20th.
Yep, Sporting Globe at Robina.
Globe at Robina. And then the last round when we play Manly at 4 Pines, we've got a pre-game event booked at the Brookvale Hotel. Jump on the Warrior Nation page. All those pre-game events are in the events page on Warrior Nation. Click the interested or click the going. Get to these events. Come and celebrate. Meet some like-minded Warriors fans. It's interesting because for those that don't know, Warrior Nation, the Warrior Nation, is where Rob and I met way back in 2020.
2020, yeah.
2020. We live in separate states. during COVID. We actually started our podcast back in 2020. Rob in Queensland, me in Sydney, and we didn't actually meet face to face in person until 2021, pretty much.
Yeah.
So so get on the Warrior Nation page. Have a look at those events. Going to be great to catch up with people at the various events, starting this weekend at the Lord Alfred Hotel.
Absolutely. I just want to say a massive thanks as well to all of our Patreon supporters. Some of you guys were in the chat tonight. Always great to have you along. Thank you so much for all your support for us. And if you do want to support us, what we do here at Ruin Hammer, you can jump onto Patreon. Just look up Ruin Hammer, and for as little as $3 a month, you can support us with what we do. We're posting stuff on Patreon. I'm letting you guys know first about all the guests that we get on and all the other things happening with Ruin Hammer as well. And you can also take up a Patreon package that also entitles you to some merchandise. So you can get some of our fantastic Ruin Hammer t-shirts. I'm about to release a couple of designs. You get the Simon Mannering shirt. There's an Aaron Clark. There's been a lot of requests for an Aaron Clark shirt. So that's coming out soon. Another Up the Wires. That should be out over the weekend sometime, or maybe even before the weekend. And speaking of merchandise, if you want to just grab yourself a couple of tees, jump onto our Red Bubble store. That's Ruin Hammer shop. Make sure you go through our shop there. Have a look at some of the great, fantastic t-shirts and other merchandise that we have on there, celebrating players past, present, and all other wonderful Warrior-based designs on there. So thank you to all you guys who have bought t-shirts. We really appreciate it, and great to see you guys out there repping some of the designs and supporting us at Ruin Hammer. Also want to remind you guys about Vital Man. As you know, Michael Witt, the legend himself, Warrior 134, and the founder of Vital Man, was on the show last week talking about it. So if you want to go back and listen to that, make sure he's talking about his passion for men's supplements and men's health. So jump on there, grab yourself some of the Vital shakes. Chocolate one is fantastic. Meal replacement shakes and the Vital Drive to improve your energy and focus. At the moment, normally he offers us a 20% off discount for Ruin Hammer listeners, but at the moment, if you use code EOFY25, you will get 25% off your order. So jump in there and check it out. At this stage, it is for Australia only, but as he said last week, he's working on getting shipping options to New Zealand as well. So jump on there, check out Vital Man as well.
Absolutely. That wraps up tonight's show. Thank you very much to everyone that tuned in. Thank you very much to everyone that put their comments into the comment section and participated in the chat. We greatly appreciate it. Shout out to our many Patreons out there who joined us tonight as well. We really thank you and appreciate your support. Make sure you get along. If you're Southeast Queensland, if you're up in Brisbane, make sure you get along to the Lord Alfred this weekend. A massive, massive pre-game event. Rob will be there.
It's going to be huge, guys. Yeah, don't miss out. Don't go, oh, gee, I wish I could have been there for that. Don't leave it a chance. Get there.
Absolutely. We'll be back for the same time next week, next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Until then, everyone stay safe. Up the wires, and just want to give a shout out, happy birthday to Anthony Peake, who had his birthday this week as well. One of our great mates.
Yeah, many happy returns, legend. And you guys all stay safe, and I'm hoping to catch up with a few of you on Saturday. And up the wires.
Up the wires.